Welcome everyone to the 2017 School District Deliberative Session. I will be the moderator pro tempore today. The regular moderator is William Business. So first I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everyone please set their cell phones on silent. If you need to take a call, so please step out just so you don't disturb people next to you. There is no smoking allowed in the building. And the introductions, as I said, I am the moderator for Pro Tem Board today, Tom Gray. School Board, we have Mr. Douglas Duke, Mrs. Margaret Hurd, Ms. Lou Snyder, Mr. Paul Steer, Mrs. Stephanie Berry, and the School District Clerk is Laura Noseworthy. School Superintendent is Mr. Earl Sussman. Business Administrator is Mr. Nathan Castle. Student Services and Special Education is Ms. Ann Kevler. High School Principal is Scott Carrier. Assistant is Christine Heichel. Elementary School Principal, John Safina, and Legal Counsel we have Barbara Lohman. Budget Committee, Mr. Larry Brown, Chairman. Mr. Mike Bolio, Selectmen's Representative. Ms. Lou Snyder, School Board Representative. Mrs. Dan Netto, Water Precinct Representative, absent today. Mr. Bob Carrier. Ms. Maureen Steer, who is not here today. And Mr. Thomas Dougal, Mr. Dennis Wing, and one who has left is Mrs. Caitlin McGuire. Supervisors of the checklist, we have Karen Brown, Diane Du Bois, and Bob Ferris, who is not with us today. Okay, just general announcements. There will be candidates forum for all candidates running for the school district and town offices on Thursday, February 23rd, 2017. It will be in the Milton's, the Selectmen's meeting room at the town office at 6 o'clock. Deliberative session rules. We are under the provisions of SB 2. There is no final vote on the items discussed today until March 14, 2017. At that time, please bring your driver's license or other valid form of identification to check in with each election officials on that day. All questions will be directed toward me, the moderator. As moderator, I will not vote except to make or break a tie. To vote today, you need to check in at the supervisor checklist table and raise your colored ballot to be counted. Please be courteous while present. Speak to the warrant or you will be ruled out of order. If you wish to speak, please state your name. You must use a microphone so that you will be heard by all present. Microphone in the middle of the room. Each speaker may only speak once until after everyone else has spoken. Please try to be brief. I will not recognize a motion to move the question when it is clear that others wish to speak. The motion will only be recognized when everyone who wishes to speak has done so at least once. I will read each warrant article in full. I will then recognize a motion to open the warrant article for discussion, recognize a second to that motion, and take your vote by color of the hand ballot. After a period of discussion and questions, the warrant will then be open to amendments. All amendments must be in writing. There will be no amendments to amendments. Let's do one at a time. After all persons present have had an opportunity to speak to the article, I will then recognize a motion to close the warrant article for discussion. Recognize a second to that motion. If the warrant article has been amended, I will reread the warrant article in full with any approved amendments before the vote. At this time, I'll accept a written motion to vote by secret ballot if requested. The motion must be signed by no less than 5 registered voters and have been previously verified as registered by the supervisors of the checklist. If we don't have motions for secret ballots, I will take the vote by colored hand ballot. After the vote, I will instruct the clerk to place the warrant article on the second session ballot as read. Again, on SB2, no final votes will be taken until March 14. You may wish to limit reconsideration under RSA 40:10. You can move to restrict reconsideration. This will only limit further reconsideration for today. Restricting reconsideration can only be postponed on a second vote to a reconvened meeting held at least 7 days from today. If you move to restrict reconsideration, you cannot bring it back up on the floor today, even if it's for a good reason such as a math error. Are there any questions on that? I am the moderator, and while I run the meeting, I can be overruled on a point of order at any time by a majority vote. School warrant, State of New Hampshire, I'm going to read this now. For the inhabitants of the school district in the town of Milton, New Hampshire, qualified to vote in district affairs, you are hereby notified of the following annual school district meeting schedule. First session of annual meeting, deliberative session. You are hereby notified to meet in Milton High School as you hear today on Saturday 4th, 2017 at 1 p.m. with a snow date of tomorrow. Thank God we didn't have a snow date, it's just Boston Bowl. So, the session shall consist of explanation, discussion, and debate of warrant articles 2 through 9. Warrant articles may be amended subject to the following limitations. A, warrant articles whose wording is prescribed by law shall not be amended. B, warrant articles that are amended shall be placed on official ballot for a final vote on the main motion as amended. And C, no warrant articles shall be amended to eliminate the subject matter of the article. Second session of the annual meeting official ballot voting. You are hereby notified that to meet at the Assembly of God Church in Milton, New Hampshire on Tuesday, March 14, 2017, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. to vote by official ballot on warrant articles numbered 1 through 9. Article 1, election of officers, voted by official ballot March 14, 2017, is to choose the following school district officers: to choose a moderator for the ensuing year, to choose a clerk for the ensuing year, to choose a school board member for the ensuing 3 years, and to choose treasurer for the ensuing year. And I'm going to instruct the clerk to place those on the second session ballot. Article 2. Shall the Milton School District vote to approve the cost items including collective bargaining agreement reached between the Milton School Board and the Milton Education Association, which calls for the following increase in salaries, benefits, and the current staff levels of amount paid in the prior fiscal year. Estimated increase of 2017-2018 is $66,184.94. Year 2018 through 2019 is $91,064.87. And further, to raise and appropriate the sum of $66,184.94 for the 2017-2018 school year. Such sum represent the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries, benefits, over those the appropriation of the current staffing levels paid in the prior fiscal year. The school board recommends this appropriation 5-0. Budget committee recommends this appropriation 7-0. Do I have a motion to open it for discussion? Open by Doug, second by Chairman Brown. And Peggy Hurd, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, I'm very short. Peg Hurd, and if you picked up a handout at the back of the room, I just wanted to talk a bit about justifying why we are asking for the money. The very beginning of that sheet talks about Milton teachers being the lowest paid in the surrounding area. Their contract for the last 2 years did not include a wage increase. We really need to ensure that our good teachers stay in Milton and not leave to go to a neighboring town. If you look, the Milton salary schedule currently goes from $32,357 to a high of $54,465. That last figure is if you have been in step 14 or you've had at least 14 years experience, you have a master's degree plus 15 additional hours. So that's an awful lot when you stop to think about what it's cost a teacher for education. The average New Hampshire teacher salary is above our high, $56,390. The average Milton teacher salary is $46,456. I'm not going to go through all of the other towns down below, but those are surrounding towns and where our Milton teachers could go and make a lot more money. The request for next year is $66,184.94. The first line shows the increase in New Hampshire retirement cost. It increased this year by 1.76%. The state is basically not paying anything, just pushing it down to the towns. That comes up to 17.36% of our total cost. $5,152 and change is the increase in FICA taxes based on the increased salaries. $215 and change is the increase in disability insurance, again based on the increased salaries. So our total uncontrollable costs are $16,859, or 25.5% of the total cost. If you take $18,028, and there's a little asterisk there, that shows what the teachers are saving the district in health insurance concessions. Take that away from the 16,000 uncontrollable, or the other way around, I'm sorry, I do teach math also. 18,000 minus the 16,000 uncontrollable costs, you come up with $1,168. If you add our total request of $66,184, add that $1,168, you come up with what's left for the total increase for the teachers. I know I was asked that question at one of our budget meetings. How'd you get more than what you're asking for? Again, it's because the teachers actually made concessions with their health insurance. $29,500 of that $67,000 is equal to a $500 increase for all of the 59 teachers. They've not received an increase for 2 years. Working out that they work for 185 days. I'm not counting the days where they might come in and set up their room or clean up at the end of the year and they don't get paid for it. At 7.5 hours a day, and most of us know teachers do not work just 7.5 hours a day, but that's what they get paid for. Anyway, you divide that $500 by the total hours, and it comes out to 36 cents per hour increase. No increase for 2 years. That comes out to a 12% per hour increase for our teachers. Movement on the salary schedule. There's 37 teachers out of the 59 who do move. Their average increase is a 4% increase, again, over 3 years. 22 teachers are at the top of the salary schedule. They do not move. That $500 increase is equal to a 1% increase. Now looking at the concessions that the teachers made during negotiations, health insurance, the single plan contribution went from 5% to them now paying 10%. That was a savings of almost $9,000. We decreased the insurance buyout amount from $3,700 to $3,000, That was a savings of $9,100. We offered and they accepted a higher deductible, lower premium plan, but we will not know what the savings are going to be until open enrollment in the springtime, and we see how many people actually sign up for the savings plan. Longevity, we changed the language that they have to teach in Milton for 15 years in order to receive a longevity payment. That was a huge concession for them. So total concession savings, $34,028. We had some very interesting negotiating meetings. Mr. Shute and I were on the team with the Milton Education Association, and it took us a while, but we got there. That is for the $66,000 for 2018-19. The insurance and longevity savings will still be in effect, but the increase to $91,000 includes increased uncontrollable expenses, the $500 increase, and step movement. And that concludes my little discussion, or big discussion.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have to make one correction. This being my first time, I've been elected to ask for a vote to open discussion, so I'll ask for a vote for all those in favor of opening further discussion. Please raise your ballot. All those opposed? Any further discussion? Mr. Shute?
I just hope everybody votes yes on this one, because I think there was a give and take on both sides. And I feel that this is a real good deal for the people and for the teachers. And thank you.
Doug? Brown?
Larry Brown. One small housekeeping thing on the budget committee is also meeting as a formal meeting. Both Maureen Steer and Stan Nader have been excused. Caitlin Mugarki has resigned. There will be an additional open spot when the elections come. I have followed school district matters for a long time, and I wanted to point out expenses that come in on teachers' salaries that weren't addressed by the school board. And that is the impact on the general budget, that over the last 5 years, New Hampshire school districts have lost $15 million in adequacy aid. And since 2011, the state has not contributed to the retirement system. That means for the retirement cost of $304,919.61 last year, you were looking at 35% of that could have been paid if the state had continued its responsibilities. Again, this is more of those costs that the school district, working their best to contain their own spending, cannot address. Special education is capped at 40% of reimbursement. Medicaid funding, we pay a 4.75% premium to get expert tracking to recover the cost of our Medicaid spending. And those are expenses that come into this budget. And I just think you need to know that the district controls its costs. You cannot deal effectively with mandates that you cannot refuse.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? Okay, not hearing any. I am going to, all those in favor of closing motion for discussion, please raise your ballot. All those opposed? I'm going to instruct the clerk to place that on the second session ballot as written. read. We have a motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Liz Snyder. Second by Mr. Brown. Everybody in favor of restricted reconsideration, please raise your ballot. All those opposed? Has been restricted. Article 3. Shall the Milton School District, if Article 2 is defeated, authorize the school board to call one special meeting as option to address Article 2 costs only? Majority vote required. The school board recommends this article 4-0. Do I have a motion to open this for discussion? Made by Aaron Brown. And do I have a second? By Mr. Chu. Article is open for discussion. Everybody please raise your ballots if you're in favor. Open this for discussion. Opposed? Good. And I'm going to ask, excuse me, I'm going to ask Peg Hurd to come up and speak to this one.
Again, I just feel as though the article number 2 is very important to retain our good teachers in Milton. If that is not approved on March 14th, then I really would like to have us approve number 2 or number 3 so that we can have another meeting and further discuss it.
Any other discussion? Not hearing any, I'm going to ask for a motion to close Article 3 for discussion. Made by Mr. Bolio. Do I have a second? By Mr. Bridges. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. I will instruct the clerk to place warrant Article 3 on the second session ballot as read. Do I have a motion to restrict reconsideration? By Mr. Bridges. Second. By Luke Leach over to it. Ms. Snyder. All those in favor, raise your ballots. Opposed? Passes. Article 4. Shall the Milton School District vote to raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles, and other appropriations voted separately, the amounts set forth in the budget posted with the warrant as amended by vote of the first session, for the purpose set forth therein, totaling $10,397,573.15. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $10,565,878.96, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Milton School District or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, Roman numeral 10, and Roman numeral 16, to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. Note, warrant Article 4, operating budget, does not include appropriations in any other warrant article. The total operating budget will offset by federal grants in $481,410, leaving a net budget amount of $9,916,163.15. RSA 32:5, Roman numeral 3, the amount of $481,410 will not be raised by taxation. This article does not include appropriations in any other warrant articles. The school board recommends this article, this appropriation 4-0, Budget Committee recommends its appropriation 6-0. Do I have a motion to open this article for discussion? Paul Steer, do I have a second? Mr. Brown? All those in favor? Please vote. Opposed? Motion passes. And I recognize Mr. Shute to speak, please.
First thing I want to say, starting off, you notice it's 4-0 on the school board. We had a member sick that night, so I'm sure it would have been 5-0. But we have to allow for sickness. But I want to say, although I'd like hope that all of you vote yes on this warrant article, because your default budget is higher by $168,305.81. Then over last year, we're going to have a increase of 1.5% over last year's budget. So that's going to be $154,014.81.
Thank you, Mr. Shute. Any other? Mr. Elder?
I just have a question, Wes Elmer. And I know the answer, but I think a lot of people probably don't. Can you explain why a default budget would be lower or higher than your requested operating budget? Why is your default budget lower, I guess, than your requested operating budget this year? Higher. I'm sorry.
I can give you one figure that's higher, because unbeknownst to us, we had a contract with Wakefield, and we had inadvertently been leaving it out of the operating budget, and that was about $44,000, wasn't it? Nate would have to explain what the rest of that increase is.
Basically, by law, we have the default budget is calculated by appropriations from last year, or level funded, with the exception of one-time costs, or in some cases, the additional costs we have.
Mr. Shute?
I'm the school district attorney. This frequently comes up. And the reason is that the law tells us that to calculate the default budget, you start with last year's appropriations, in other words, last year's operating budget. And then to the extent that you are required to pay increased costs, either because of mandates, legal mandates, for example, special education, contracts, you increase those amounts. The only stuff that you take out are one-time expenditures. So what sometimes happens when you have a school board that's working really hard to control costs, they can come up with an operating budget proposed for the upcoming year that's lower. But nonetheless, because you start with last year, the previous year's operating budget for the default budget, you often end up with a higher default budget. I would say in probably about a third of the meetings that I attend, the default budget is higher. Thank you.
Also, too, I think it's important to note that one person on staff from MES, there's a cut in staff, there's going to be a rift in staff, but it's important to note for the parents here and the ones that will watch this, our class sizes are going to remain the same. So there'll be no impact on the education, learning that your child receives, so that it's a cost-effective We looked at the various class sizes. This was done in conjunction with the staff in terms of the administration. There was a collaboration involved, and I want to thank the staff and the administration for having a voice in that and saying that, and we concur. So in short, we had a reduction in force, there's one less staff person, and your overall class sizes, whether your child, whatever grade your child will be in, we will not increase the size of the classes. So you won't walk in and find out when the child comes home there's 31 kids in there, or whatever the case is.
Thank you, Ms. Sussman. Brown?
The rest of the warrants coming up are primarily for specific items. And again, I have followed the school district for some time. I am particularly interested, concerned, and I would even say dedicated to the continuation of Milton having its community school district. And I just wanted to make sure people voting for the school district budget understood that effective July 1st of this year, Milton is going to have its own freestanding, hometown, community-based school district. We will have separated from Wakefield. We will have established a central SAU administrative offices at the Damon House. That project will have come in under budget and on target for its services. Parents will have access to administrative services on campus. And that impact of the new operating budget, combined with the ability of the school district to set in place what I will call the EMS team. That would be the elementary, middle, and secondary administrative team, combined with the services of a full-time superintendent. And again, to have brought that in at a figure of 1.5% of the CPI for this area, General Boston Metropolitan, is 1.7. So this is a budget which is responsive to community needs, and it is coming in at a figure under inflation for the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else wish to speak to it? Okay, not hearing, I'm going to ask for a motion to close discussion. Made by Mr. Bridges. Do I have a second? By Lori Palmer. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to ask for a motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Mr. Brown, second by Bruce Snyder. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 5. Shall the Milton School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to purchase library media for the new high school library? This is a special warrant article appropriation. The school board recommends this appropriation 4-0. The budget committee recommends appropriation 6-0. I have a motion to open it for discussion. Made by Lou Snyder, for a second. Mr. Brown. All those in favor? you want to step up and speak to us?
Hello. This should be short. This article is proposed each year to continue aiding the growth of the new library. So it's something that's on the ballot each year.
Any other further discussion? Not hearing any? I'm going to ask for a motion to close discussion on Article 5. Made by Trump Crawl. Do I have a second? Second by Baker. All those in favor? Please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to ask for a motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Lou Snyder, seconded by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. Article 6, shall the Milton School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to place in the Milton School District Building Maintenance, Repair, Renovation, and Capital Project Reserve Fund established in 2005 for the purpose of repairing and maintaining school buildings, with such amount to be funded from the June 30th, 2017 unreserved fund balance surplus available on July 1st, 2017. The school board recommends this appropriation 4-0. The budget committee recommends this appropriation 6-0. Do I have a motion to open this for discussion? Made by Peg Courage, seconded by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. I'm going to ask Paul Steer if he wants to come speak to us, please.
Hi, good afternoon. This is something that's usually on the warrant. It's a warrant every year. This is to make up for some, mostly, put in a nutshell, unforeseen things. We try to keep a reserve fund for items that may come up we don't know is going to come up. For instance, last year we found a buried oil tank right over here in the garden area. We have a sump down here that collects our fuel oil to run the heat. It's starting to deteriorate. We need to replace that this year, close to $30,000. So that's what covers these things. It also goes into the renovation of the Damon House to get it ready to become an SAU. So that's where the things as the town evolves and as our future progresses, we don't know what's going to come up. So it's good to have a little bit in there and find out if the oil will let go, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else speak to it? Okay, not hearing it, I'll ask for a motion to close Article 6 for discussion. Made by Peg Courage, seconded by Larry Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. Ask for a motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Mr. Brown, second by Ms. Snyder. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. Article 7, shall the Milton School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to place in the Milton School District Technology Expendable Trust Fund established in 2007, with such amount to be funded from the June 30th, 2017 unreserved fund balance available on July 1st. School board recommends this appropriation 4-0. Budget committee recommends it 6-0. Do I have a motion to open this article for discussion? Made by Peg Hurd, second by Mr. Brown. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to ask whose side it is with this article.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a warrant article I personally have worked on pretty hard. Last year, there was a proposal for $175,000 over every 3 years in the future, which they were rented. We did not own anything. They could come in and take computers away. So I have been working this past year with the other board members, and we came up with, there are a couple of things that we can get computers out of, but we need to sustain it. And this technology fund was already established. So like we're taking one of the grants that we're getting, and it's $10,500. The board decided to take that for computers for MES. But we still need about $8,000 just to finish off that one room. So this $25,000 will go into a technology fund. The $8,000 would come out of that a little later in the year, and the rest of it will go to sustain. Now that means if we need a computer that fails, we can get it. If we have a printer or any such things as a future school board says yes to, we can take it out of that. This is responsibility to the taxpayers, and this comes out of the surplus. Now the surplus is not new money, but it does not come back to offset taxes. But I think this is the answer, because we will own every computer. So if a class or a teacher needs a new one, but their computer isn't bad, it could be moved around for the kids or another teacher. Like we have a couple of teachers that need a stronger computer, or an engineering student that needs a stronger computer. And if that becomes like obsolete, which they do, it could be moved down. Nobody's going to take these away. And I talked to other townspeople during the year, and they like this idea. So this is kind of what we thought. It's reasonable, it's not new money, it doesn't come back to you to offset taxes, and I want that clear. But I think it is the most reasonable thing that we can do with this technology age that we're in. And I really hope you will all vote for it, because this board has really worked very hard on everything to tighten up, but not to take anything away from our students, because we're fighting to get everything we can for the students to improve our standards. And this is a great board, and I want to thank each one of them for that. And our leadership has also been great, but more of that later. Bye.
Thank you, Luke. Anyone else wish to speak to the article? Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Starting in August, the Budget Committee and the school board pick up the pace of how to put the budget together and how to make it a tight budget. Phrase that Lou used, tight budget. So the question has to come, if you have a tight budget, how can you possibly have any money left? Bob Adams had one answer to that when he talked about how his staff is getting clobbered by the snowstorms we haven't had, except the snowstorms have come when they cost time and a half and they already exhaust their budget. Over the last 5 years, the school district has given back $1,312,543 to the town general fund. That money has come back because with resignations, with grants that have come in, with other unforeseen expenses coming against the district's costs, the district has been able to return that money to the general fund. That money return works as a cushion for the tax rate for the entire town, school district and town together. This year, the selectmen were able to reduce our tax rate by going to that town general fund. And that's just something to keep in mind for how the school district has continued to try to husband its resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? Okay. I'm going to look for a motion to close Article 7 discussion. Made by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Steer. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. I am going to look for a motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Ms. Snyder, second by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballots. Opposed? Motion passes. And I will instruct the clerk to place Article 7 on the second session ballot, which I just realized I'm going to have to do that with you. That's okay with you? Like I said, it's my first time. Article 8. Shall the Milton School District vote for raise and appropriate up to the sum of $25,000 to purchase new equipment for the Milton administrative offices, with a sum to come from Milton's share of the unencumbered fund balance available after the separation of Wakefield from SAU 64, which will be effective June 30, 2017. This is a special warrant article. This article will not result in additional taxation. The school board recommends this appropriation 4-0. Budget committee recommends appropriation 6-0. Do I have a motion to put this on open discussion by Peg Hurd, second by Mr. Brown? All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passed. Moderator recognizes Paul Steer to speak for the article.
As it was read, this is basically, this is separate from Article 6, which puts money into our funds for unforeseen things. This amount is to equip the new Damon House once the SAU office is all built and the construction is done. We have a phone system in the old SAU thing from the 80s, early 90s. We're not going to obviously bring that over. That kind of thing, copy machines, things that they need for their daily business there. Once we get that done, keep in mind that as of July 1st, we will no longer be paying rent for the old building down there for Zell. So that's going to be money come back into our pockets once we finally get this all taken care of. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steer. Anyone else? look for a motion to close Article 8 for discussion. Made by Peggy Hurd, second by Larry Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. I will instruct the clerk to place warrant Article 8 on the second session ballot as read. The motion to restrict reconsideration. Peggy Hurd, second by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. Article 9, shall the Milton School District vote to change the name and purpose of the expendable trust fund currently named Milton School District Building Maintenance, Repair, Renovation, Capital Project Reserve Fund to the Milton School District Building Maintenance, Repair, and Renovations Trust Fund for the purpose of removing capital project from the entitled and from the purpose of the fund. There's a 2/3 vote required. School board recommends this article 4-0. Do I have a motion to open it for discussion? Made by Peggy Hurd, second by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. Moderators now recognize Lou Snyder to speak to the article.
This was brought to our attention. It's a housekeeping thing by the trustees of the trust fund in case that there was a capital improvement project which failed. They felt that we would not be able to use that fund for repairs. Our attorney gave us a different opinion, but we decided as a group to go along and take that wording out. It tightens it up a little bit, but that's what this fund was really intended for maintenance and repair and any renovation. So we decided that capital improvement could stand on its own, and that's why we did this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Anyone else who would speak to the article? Okay. I'm going to look for a motion to close Article 9 for discussion. Made by Ms. Snyder, seconded by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to instruct the clerk to place Article 9 on the second session ballot as read. A motion to restrict reconsideration. Made by Lou Snyder, seconded by Tom McDougal. All those in favor of restricting reconsideration, please raise your ballot. Opposed? Motion passes. That is the last article. I'm going to, as I stated to District Clerk, I had neglected to instruct her to place someone, so I'm just going to go through all of them to instruct her to place them on the ballot, second session ballot. Make sure we get that covered, if that's okay. And I said, it's your meeting. If you wish me not to do that, I won't. Just for clarity. And you want to speak first? Yes. All right. I was just advised by the council that I make a single declaration to instruct the school board clerk to place all articles on the second session ballot. That's right. And that concludes. I would like to thank everyone for coming out today. I'd like to also thank everyone for putting up with me today. As I said, it's not new to me, but I was looking forward to it. Thank you again.